Hi, my name is Kegger Menard, and I'm an article. Alright, we're
I'm an albatross.
I'm an albatross. We can put some blue. Let's put some bloopers in here.
Kegger, the gigaboo.
Good lord, Chase. Alright. Hi, I'm Kegger Menard, and I am a journalist for the website The Edinburgh Underground, the entertainment website for the Maryville College community. And with me, I have two members from the musical project Brother Orchid, Chase Sterling and Michael Knopf. Alright guys, so basically tell me a little bit about the project and what it's all about and when it started, something like, a little bit of the logistics.
I think I'll let Chase start this one off since this is kind of his baby first and foremost.
It started about 2.5, 3 years ago when I was playing in local metal band Follow Through Forever. I was getting tired of playing heavy music, so I started playing acoustic guitar even more than I already did. I started writing my own stuff, and about a year after doing that, I came to Michael to record a couple songs, and we just sat down, did straight one take on each of them, and they're up on the Facebook now. Like all of our stuff is going to be free download and whatnot, and then now,
Yeah.
And
well, until we record the new version of that one song that we're going to put on the EP.
Oh yeah. But it eventually got to the point where I was just running into writer's block constantly and felt that I needed to collaborate with somebody, so I asked if he wanted to help me in the creative process and whatnot, and now it is what it is.
Yeah, and I actually listened to your 3 songs that you have on Facebook right now, which are Swim, one of them is an Untitled, and Deconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you guys tell me a little bit about those 3 songs, basically what inspired you to write those songs, what came to mind when you were writing them, and as far as the instrumental components, what you did with the production, and and stuff like that, basically.
Yet again, you started these, so you should probably be the first to talk about this.
Alright, like the songs, lyrically, I draw from stuff that has happened in my life, or, philosophical views I have of the world, stuff of that nature.
Philosophical views? Like what? What would that encompass?
It's a variety of things, from like...
Are you a Wiccan?
No.
Oh, okay. So you don't drink bull's blood in honor of Mithras.
No, I don't sacrifice virgins either.
Oh, okay. Thank God.
It's the waste of a good virgin.
Oh my. Oh, alright.
I agree.
Yeah. It's anything from like, human relationships, to how the world functions in today's society and stuff like that. And even then, an entire song may not be about one topic in general. It could just be hints of it here and there.
Okay. I'm going to turn to you, Michael. Basically, how did you feel when Chase came to you when he felt, he needed a breakthrough in his music, and how did he approach you, especially with the production aspect of the music?
He approached me wearing lingerie.
I see. What color was it? Was it at least pink?
It was as black as his beard and hair.
With the salt and pepper on the chin.
Yeah. He came and said, "Hey, I want to record these songs." 2 years ago, I guess. Is when you recorded those first 2.
Yeah.
Or 3.
It's 4.
Oh yeah, 4. My bad.
Because of that cover song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what was the cover song again?
Sink 4 to Sink by Against Me.
Oh yeah. I know that song very well, actually.
Oh yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, sure. Just another recording project. except for I knew that I was going to really like it because I share a lot of the same views and same perspective as Chase does on a lot of things. I was like, all right, come on in, we'll knock this out. That'd be the end of it. And then either he was over here and we were just hanging out, or we were out doing something, and he's like, hey, I want this thing that I'm doing to be more serious. I got some ideas for it, and I'd really like your help. With kind of ironing things out, and also for the recording aspect too. So I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? I liked his demo that he did, especially the song Untitled, which, like I was talking about, we're going to.
I really like that, by the way, too. That was one of my favorite songs out of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was definitely my favorite out of the ones that he did. And he's like, all right, I got this song. Next time I come over, I'll have one of my guitars with me. I'll show you what I've got, and then see where you want to go with that. And the way we write is a little different. I don't come up with something and show it to him, and then we're like, all right, we'll use that. It's more along the lines of, hey, I've got this. What do you think, Michael? Okay, I got this. Let's record this, and then we'll just explode in all directions till we find ourselves a path.
Just explode.
Especially the last song we recorded. That's exactly how that went.
Yeah, there's pretty much just musical vomit.
Yeah, but it sounds so good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, that's obviously one of the beneficial elements to being in a band or having a project with a partner is having the ability to bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah.
And in correlation to that, how do you feel that you guys bounce ideas off of each other? Like, where in that, like, basically, what are your roles in that process when you guys are when Chase is writing music and you're producing it, and how does that eventually modulate into the final finished product that is the Brother Orchid Symphony?
Right. It's like I said just a second ago, musical vomit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, well, typically I come in with a guitar part.
How much alcohol is involved?
Usually none.
Oh, okay. It was just botulism then.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I typically come in with a guitar part and lyrics already written, and down to where I know them very well. And then we come in, record that, and then we just kind of experiment with everything under the sun after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Going back to you, Michael. Obviously you are instrumentally, a multifaceted individual. You you play guitar. Especially in Swim, I noticed where Chase transitioned over to rhythm, you would bring in the lead.
Yeah.
How long have you been in music? What instruments do you play? And basically, what's your favorite instrument? What's your favorite aspect about musical production? And
okay. I started because I was my interest got piqued when I was about 4. Because of my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My dad introduced me to a band called the Scorpions.
I love the Scorpions.
I love the Scorpions.
I gotta tell you a funny story actually about the Scorpions. When
maybe you might want to wait till after this.
Oh no, it's still hilarious.
Oh, okay.
There's this dude in rehab that met the leads and guitars to the Scorpions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never heard of the Scorpions before, and the dude brought over the CD when he got out and gave it to me. And this dude was considerably older than me. He's like, "Hey man, why don't you check this out, man? They're a band from the '80s." And I'm like, "All right, I don't know what these guys are." I'm like, I was 12 years old and I was listening to like Beyonce on the radio and Usher and stuff like these mainstream pop culture phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
And I started listening to the Scorpions, and after I listened to Rock You Like a Hurricane, I think that's when I started becoming attracted to women.
Because you wanted to rock him like a
No,
hurricane.
But essentially, I always get this image in my head of every time that song would come on, I always get this image in my head of me just approaching a woman, and all of a sudden the song playing, and the wind just blows all of her clothes off. So, anyway, I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. I like this story. No, my thing with the Scorpions was not Rock You Like a Hurricane, like a lot of other people. The first album I heard from them was Savage Amusement, and I remember listening to it in the car, because that was the only time I ever got to listen to it. My mom was like, "No, you can't listen to that stuff. It's for Satan." And she would be like, "All right, now," like me and Dad and my brother would go out and go run errands for my mom. She's like, "All right, now don't you dare let him listen to this devil music." My dad's like, "Yeah, okay."
Popped it in.
Hey guys, we're hanging out with Dad today.
Teach you a little bit about love, son. Via Scorpions.
I was just like, how is that dude making those guitar sounds? I was just appalled.
Appalled?
Appalled in like a good way. It's how do I explain this? I was conflicted because
It was like sweet poison or something?
Well, yeah, because like I was taught and it got hammered in my head that this music was so evil and bad. But the flip side of it, I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is the most awesome thing in the world. My dad also introduced me to like Def Leppard and
of course.
Pink Floyd.
As did mine.
Yeah. And Metallica. And I got introduced to Pantera back when they were a hair metal band.
And they weren't crappy. And then Dimebag Darrell got shot in 2004,
That's a different topic.
And
then I didn't start playing music till much later. About when I was about the age of 9, I got my first experience with a musical instrument. One of my aunts, who has owned a couple of recording studios and has been a traveling musician for a lot of her life. She had a drum kit set up in her living room, and I'd go over to her house and I'd play it. But I didn't know what I was doing when I was 9. I didn't know anything about music. But I thought it was the most amazing thing. Then after that, I was hooked. I started learning everything I could. My dad really wanted me to get into it because he knew how much I liked it. My mom was not keen on that at all till I was about 17 or 18. I didn't really get to own my own musical instrument. I had to go behind my mom's back and play and practice at my friends' houses.
What is this? What is this that the teenagers are doing nowadays? What is this thing called rock and roll?
Right. And then I started getting. I got into all sorts of different types of music. I like folk, I like classical, I like hip hop, I like death metal. I like trance. Just so much different things are just encompassing to me, and everything I do, I don't draw influence from one thing. Everything I play, no matter what genre I'm playing in, I'm always drawing in influences from every other genre that I listen to.
Yeah, and it's that versatility, I believe, that actually really makes an artist.
Yeah.
Especially one that's trying to break out. And even if not, it still refines you with your craft. And Chase, going over to you, basically, what got you started? Like, I know you mentioned, in a previous interview that you started playing drums back in the 5th grade with the drum line, and but as you transitioned over into guitar when you went to college, did you feel like you were more connected to the guitar than the drums, or like what really what sung to you? I guess if you want me to be a little bit punny.
The fact that you could get a melody out of the guitar and not the drums.
Well, depending on what percussion instrument you're talking about.
Yeah, but whenever you're poor and can't really afford said percussion instrument.
Right.
So the xylophone, I believe, is very melodic and sexy in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Well, drums can be like that too. Like a drum kit, like you can tune them to musical pitches.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's just a different conversation altogether.
Oh yeah.
But no, you know, the fact that I didn't have to spend an arm and a leg,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to get a melody out of it, because my dad had several guitars, and I just took one of his up to college with me and whatnot. And I don't know, just the more I learned, the more I liked it, and I ended up buying a starter bass guitar for pretty cheap as well, and I was fooling around with that a little bit, but I always kept going back to guitar. And then I kept, at first, you know, was learning, I don't know, I guess what I considered simple stuff. I think the first song I learned on guitar was System of a Down's Aerials.
Great song, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's,
Amazing song.
Even today, even as dated as it is, it's still
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I
And
listened
it's
to
an easy song to play, because I already had a sense of rhythm from being a drummer.
Yeah.
You know, so I could get the rhythm down for it easily enough, and started out using a thumb pick, you know, because I couldn't hold on to a regular pick
Yeah.
at all.
I remember those days.
Yeah, you know, and it gradually progressed and started writing my own stuff and got into finger picking in a little bit, and you know, it's like I've always been drawn to like folk music, you know, and honestly I wish I could write that stuff, but I just don't have the voice to, so it just ends up coming out as what you hear.
Yeah. Musical vomit.
Pretty much.
I guess that's the key word for it, musical vomit. But if you think about it though, if you think like, you know, looking back, a lot of, you know, musicians were like that though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about the Doors and listening to the songs like Crystal Starship in the end.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Crystal Ship.
Crystal Ship?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, you made me feel like a fool then. But
I've been listening to him longer than you have.
that is true. You know, and a lot of it just starts out, you know, embryonically, it just starts out as such a simplistic entity. And I guess I mean, that's, you know, you guys call it musical vomit, but I think it's a necessity when, you know, when you're actually, you know, creating music, creating art in general. So,
Oh yeah. I'm not saying musical vomit in a bad way.
yeah.
Like that's just kind of that's just. If you were to look at it,
I guess
from
that's the term that like most accurately describes
Well,
it.
yeah.
Really.
If you looked at the music from a perspective that you're like looking at like a canvas, and like an artist just starts just slinging paint everywhere and just seeing what happens, you know, that's the terminology that I mean by.
It's kind of like the last song we recorded. You know, is like my original idea for it was just to be like guitar and vocals, you know, with maybe a little bit of ambiance, you know, we recorded it like that and had a little bit of ambiance, but it just wasn't finished, you know, and so like an artist slinging paint onto a canvas, you know, we kept doing that with other effects and stuff like that, and now it's honestly one of the trippiest songs I have ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
To say the least. I
And
don't
we
know
were-
the word for it.
We were kind of skeptical once we finished it, but then we listened to it and we were like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I can't believe we just did this.
Yeah.
Alright, excellent.
Yeah.
Now, going back to you, Michael.
Mhm.
You say that, you know, you basically delve into all realms of music. You know, I've heard you play rhythm and lead on, you know, Chase's songs and Brother Orchid. I've heard you, I've heard your productions, you know, with beats and, you know, like melodies with like with hip hop, and also I've heard, you know, some of your house or electronic stuff, which is really, really good. And what makes you draw what inspiration do you draw from in order to like create stuff like that? Really?
Well, I think a lot of that comes from just a lot of the different types of music I listen to, the different artists, and also the different instruments that I play. Because first instrument I touched was a drum kit, but you know I played in concert band in middle school, and then played concert winter drumline, and did drumline in the summertime in high school as well. and competed, and I picked up guitar and bass, and picked up a little bit of piano, and I can sing decently.
Same.
Do you use that term loosely, decently?
Well,
I use that term loosely.
yeah, we'll just say loosely for the lack of a better word at the moment.
All right.
But all these things, just really help me delve into the realm of inspiration for the things that I like to do. Like I said, I don't choose. All right, I'm working on a hip hop project for somebody right now, so that means I'm only going to delve into hip hop to find my inspiration. No, I don't do that. Whenever I want to find hip hop inspiration, I will listen to hip hop, but a lot of the times I often find myself listening to metal to get inspiration for hip hop, because there's a lot of parallels to hip hop and metal.
Well, if you think about it now, a lot of hip hop is starting to incorporate a lot of different elements into the beats and melodies.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas back in the 70s when hip hop started emerging as an isolated genre of music,
mm-hmm.
And started separating itself from the rest of the musical scene.
Mm-hmm.
It was very percussion driven.
Yeah.
And now they're incorporating a lot of rock elements, a lot of metal elements, maybe some house elements, electronic elements, just to diversify. And it's that, like I said, once again, it's that versatility that makes, I believe, the music more engaging, in my perspective.
I think so.
Like if you go back to Run DMC and all that stuff, there was a lot of rock and roll in their hip hop.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they call themselves the king of rock, so.
Or like Cypress Hill, for that matter,
Yeah.
Their later stuff, they got heavy into metal, like mixing rap and metal together.
Mm-hmm.
And there's stuff like Head Pee and whatnot.
Yeah. Head Pee is a little too rough for my taste, but
good workout music.
I think they're great, and I think they also put on a really great live performance.
Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've also. Am I allowed to say anything bad?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well,
might as well, man.
Well, whenever they came here a couple of years ago, me and one of my bandmates at the time, we were asked by Head P and Smile Empty Soul to go smoke dope with them in their tour bus. So that was a lot of fun.
How was that?
It was awesome.
I'm sure it was.
It was awesome.
That's funny. I remember when I was down in Florida,
mm-hmm.
Visiting, for spring break. It was my college roommate. We were visiting his sister who was in law school at Florida State University,
mm-hmm.
and we were over at her friend's house, and her friend used to be a musician. He was 30 years old and he was in law school, but for
mm-hmm.
most of his life he was a musician or a pianist.
Mm-hmm.
And he was opening for Toots.
Nice.
And he vividly remembers after opening and after the concert, Toots sends his manager to go get him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh my gosh, this is an honor, He's like, I love Toots, He's like, it's a big inspiration. And he goes into the back of the tour bus, and there's Toots, sitting on his, nice plush shag bed and smoking the fattest doobie you can imagine.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm such a huge fan, and it's like, I'd love to get some insight, musically.
Mm-hmm.
And Toots only replies, boy, I tell you what, basically, the whole conversation, which consisted of 2 hours between him and Toots, was him trying to comprehend what Toots was saying.
Oh man!
He's like, I tell you, boy, I'd never seen a pianist that they've been hanging. And I just thought to myself, what the hell was that man smoking?
Indeed.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're basically we're out of time, but also Michael has a separate project and separate music. If you go on Facebook and also on the Edinburgh Underground website, you can check it out. It's amazing. Thank you. Once again, I'm Kegger Menard. This is Chase Sterling and Michael Knopf.